This is breaking news from News 8.
In our Sunrise Smart Start, there is breaking news. Rochester police just wrapping up an investigation in the city on Clifford and Portland Avenues.
Officers arrived on scene around 2:30 this morning. It has since cleared, but Erica Costa is joining us live now with what we know so far about this investigation. Erica, what can you tell us?
Good morning. Well, the intersection behind me was extremely active with police and crime scene tape just a few moments ago. This Exxon gas station, the center of the investigation here. We're still working to confirm what exactly happened, but there was a mobile command unit on scene, several officers, investigators walking inside and around the gas station looking for evidence. Our photographer says witnesses were here earlier being asked questions, so a lot of activity, a lot of action here, but no word on what exactly happened, as I mentioned. So police do say just a few moments ago they did tell me they will be sending out more information in the coming hours, so we will be updating you shortly with more details on social media and on News 8. Also worth noting, this is the time when students start to be on buses, walking to school. We are actually by a few schools, so a lot of activity to be happening so close to this, just so close to this neighborhood, really. And we'll be bringing you exactly what just happened on News 8 shortly as well. So now I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much for your time out there this morning. For more on this story as it develops, you of course can head to rochesterfirst.com.
Let's get the latest on COVID-19 as well. Governor Hochul is scheduled to provide an update on the state's indoor mask mandate later today.
According to the New York Times, the governor will be dropping the mandate for now. The report also says the mandate will stay in effect for school districts across the state. Some local parents tell News 8 children deserve to take off their masks while in the classroom.
We want everyone to have the option of wearing a mask. We're not trying to say nobody should be wearing a mask. If you are more comfortable in a mask, you should absolutely wear one. But for us personally, we aren't worried about this anymore, and we want our kids to live normal, healthy, happy lives, and them not seeing faces, smiles, emotions is just heartbreaking.
Some medical experts in our area are advising against lifting the mask mandates in schools, saying it's kept kids and teachers safe.
Johnson & Johnson halting production of its COVID-19 vaccine after shutting down its Netherlands facility. J&J says it has millions of doses in inventory and the halt is temporary. It is the vaccine of choice for much of the developing world.
Well, James, today and the following few days seem to be looking pretty nice so far according to your forecast.
And we can get everywhere because we don't expect any travel issues with any snow on the way. Maybe a couple of flakes tonight and into tomorrow, but really no issues whatsoever in terms of travel and road conditions. We are cold this morning. That's a headline for you. Rochester starting off at 17. Earlier was closer to 10. That's at the airport. But otherwise, we climb up really nicely into the 40s. Look at these numbers. Albion at 44, Scottsville 45 degrees. Later today, this is probably about 2 or 3 o'clock, Canandaigua getting to 45. See some melting of all the snow down on Main Street in Canandaigua. How about Warsaw getting up to 42 later today? Mark?
All right, James, thank you. Time for another check of the roads with our Sunrise traffic. Again, that investigation on Clifford Ave in Rochester, that scene has now cleared. 390, 490, 590, the thruway as well. No accidents to report at this hour, so good news there if you're headed out the door. In other news, the Rochester City School District temporarily suspending plans to close several low-performing schools. Superintendent Leslie Meyer-Small says the delay will allow for a robust community conversation.
The superintendent adding, quote, unfortunately, we remain in a situation where the need to reconfigure and close schools is a reality. Our enrollment continues to decline. We have undersubscribed and low-performing schools, and recommendations in our NYS academic and fiscal plans call for a reduction of the district's footprint, end quote. Superintendent Myers-Small says families directly impacted, will hear more from the district later today.
The investigation continuing after a fatal hit and run in Rochester. Investigators say 36-year-old Richard Massey Jr. pulled over to help after a crash on North Winton and Blossom Roads early Sunday when he was struck by a car involved in that crash. We're told the car fled the scene. Rochester police later located and then impounded that vehicle. They believe it struck and killed Massey. Officials have not said, or determined rather, whether the event was intentional or accidental. Anyone with information is asked to call 911.
The White House is reminding all eligible Americans to file their taxes in order to receive the child tax credit as well as the earned income tax credit for 2021. The child tax credit was a part of last year's American Rescue Plan, and it included 6 months of payments per each child under the age of 17. But the plan has now expired. Advocates say families in need of assistance are now facing a crisis.
We absolutely need the child tax credit to continue so parents can go to work, so children can thrive, so people can earn living wages and move our country forward, and also address the rising costs.
A group of House and Senate Democrats have said they want to pass an extension of the child tax credit with a simple majority using the process of reconciliation. That would require the support of all 50 Senate Democrats.
Well, also in Washington, the House passing a bill extending government funding through March 11th. The stopgap measure, known as a continuing resolution, must be approved now by the Senate before the president can sign it into law.
A bomb threat forced second gentleman Doug Emhoff to cut short his visit to a Washington, D.C. school. Emhoff, the husband of Vice President Kamala Harris, was rushed from Dunbar High after the school received a threatening phone call. The building was evacuated and no explosives were found.
More U.S. troops and equipment arriving in Poland as the threat of a Russian invasion of Ukraine still looms. The Pentagon says hundreds of U.S. soldiers are now stationed about 62 miles from Ukraine.
NATO says Russia has more than 100,000 troops stationed at its border with Ukraine, including 30,000 in Belarus. Russia has denied its plans to invade Ukraine, but says it wants security guarantees, including no missile deployments near its borders. While the UN has ruled out defending Ukraine with military force, it has promised to use arms shipments and reinforce nearby NATO countries.
Time now for the GRE Morning Business Report. The IRS is scrapping the plan for facial recognition technology. The agency wanted taxpayers to use it when they created an online account at irs.gov. Users would have to upload their ID and submit a selfie. But the idea faced backlash from privacy advocates and lawmakers. They were concerned that hackers could steal personal information.
Medicare will soon cover over-the-counter COVID-19 tests. Beneficiaries will be able to get up to 8 tests per month from eligible pharmacies and other participating outlets. The policy will apply to FDA-approved tests. Currently, Medicare recipients can access free tests through covidtests.gov.
Delta Airlines testing a new perk for travelers to try to speed up the boarding process. The carrier says it's trying out a pilot project allowing flyers to check their carry-on bag for free. Unlike other airlines, Delta does not have a size limit for the personal item that travelers can carry onto the plane. All right, here's what some folks will be talking about at the water cooler this morning. The Olympics. Let's get a look at the latest medal count from the games. The Russian Olympic Committee still on top with 10 medals. Norway in second, followed by Austria and Sweden. Team USA moving up this morning with 7 medals, including its first gold.
Well, and they still have ways to go, quite a few days, so good luck to them.
Yes.
Let's get some more gold medals.
Yeah, certainly. I think a lot of people may be thinking about tuning in as we get to throughout the day and throughout the next couple of days. Forecast looks pretty good locally. We've got nice clear skies. Here's twilight over Lake Ontario. You love to see the blue. Bus stop forecast, we are starting off cold. Temperatures generally in the single digits for some in the Finger Lakes. Teens, then we climb into the 20s, 30s. I bet we get to the low 40s this afternoon. Warmth does not last long. A couple of flakes fly on Thursday, and then we'll certainly turn cooler as we get into Saturday and Sunday. So a little bit of a seesaw, but no big major storms in the 8-day forecast here.
But enjoy that 42 today, James.
Yeah, and that might be even a little bit low. We could see some spots 44, even 45 this afternoon. So it's a nice little taste of early spring. When you have a foot of snow on the ground, we'll see a little bit of melting, but it'll certainly be there at least through this weekend.
All right, I'll take it. Thank you so much for joining us here on News 8 at Sunrise this morning.
Our next update is coming up in just about 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next from New York City. Have a great day.